If you're a coach or consultant who's been struggling to incorporate AI into your day-to-day business operations, you're going to love my special guest today. Hello and welcome to the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast, where we share strategies to help coaches and consultants grow their revenue while working fewer hours so they can finally build a life they enjoy. I'm your host, Ken Stephen, and my guest today is Chad Owen. Chad helps solopreneurs and small business owners use AI to scale their businesses without scaling their teams. And today we're going to talk about how AI can help you capture and automate the systems and processes you already use in your day-to-day operations and free up more of your time for the work that only you can do, the kind of work that drives your revenue and serves your clients and grows your business. So, Chad, I'm happy you could join us here today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Ken. I'm really excited to dive into the conversation today.
I'm excited too because what you do, the kind of work that you do directly relates to the systems and automation driver of my five driver revenue growth framework.
Mhm.
And the reason why this driver is so vital is that without robust systems, the business basically is just based on the stamina of the founder, right? So
Yeah,
like there's only so many hours in the day and you can't scale what you can't repeat. So if you have to personally touch every operational aspect of the business in order to run the business, you haven't really created a business. You just created a really demanding job for yourself,
yeah,
right?
or a hamster wheel
Or a
that you're
hamster wheel,
constantly
right?
running
A
on.
hamster wheel, right? So AI can definitely help free up some time here. And I think the way people have been using AI so far is maybe something like ChatGPT. Maybe it's helping them with their writing and maybe a little brainstorming of ideas and things like
Mhm.
that. And that does, in fact, save a little bit of personal time. But the kind of work you do takes the use of AI to a whole new level, right? Like you're actually
Yeah.
not just using AI to help people with their writing. You're using AI to develop, well, they're AI agents, right? And these
Mhm.
AI agents actually have the capability to start doing some of the work that you would normally do. It's taking over operational aspects of the business, right?
Yeah. And, it's probably not going to be too long before there's AI agents that are running entire businesses themselves without human intervention that's making money and delivering value to the marketplace. I'd be surprised if there weren't a few of those actually already existing today that we maybe haven't heard about yet.
Hey, well, this is great. So let's dive right in. Let's start by helping everyone understand, like, what's the difference between using something like GPT and an AI agent? What's an AI agent? And let's start there.
So there's different levels of applying AI to your business. I think there's roughly 7 or 8 different levels. And the first level is the chatbot. So by now, everyone's probably familiar with ChatGPT or just a chatbot where you're going back and forth. It's kind of like an advanced Google. You give it a prompt and it'll respond with an answer. If you aren't using that today, just hop on to chatgpt.com or gemini.google.com and begin to use it today. There's no reason you shouldn't be using that today, even if it's just as a replacement or addition to Google. That's one end of the spectrum, level one. If you go all the way up to level 8, that's where I was talking about an agent orchestrator that has its own team of agents that are operating different parts of the business. And its job is to essentially act as the CEO of that business. And so you would have an entirely autonomous business run by AI agents. If you've maybe heard part of the hype around these dark companies or dark software factories, which just means like in robotic manufacturing nowadays, there are factories out there that are manufacturing goods where the lights are off because there's no humans on the floor. The robots are just acting on their own. And there's companies that are building software and tools that same way where there's no humans in the loop when it comes to building software. So that's all the way on the advanced end of the spectrum. And there's many steps in between. And I love taking solopreneurs, coaches, consultants on that journey from level one all the way to level 8.
So okay, so let's talk about that journey. So what are some of the typical day-to-day operations that an AI agent could help a solopreneur, coach, or consultant with?
The best places to start are where you're spending a lot of your time and a lot of your energy is being drained. So imagine you're a coach and you help people get on a stage and deliver a perfect keynote presentation. I would imagine that your best application of your unique ability to that client is diving in with them and, helping them have the stage presence and crafting the right story and being sure that there's, clear takeaways for the audience and maybe even a call to action at the end. And you don't ever want to automate that away or hand that off to AI. You want to do just that and automate everything else. So that might be, well, how do you find these speakers that are on the speaking circuit that may want some help with their keynote? So that's a research function that you could offload to AI. Or maybe you have a nice funnel of potential leads that you could coach, but you're kind of bad at follow-up, or you miss some emails and things like that. So you could have a whole kind of nurture sequence or follow-up sequence that AI could help you with to turn those leads into potential customers. And then, the whole scheduling and onboarding of those clients. So you can have AI analyze your sales calls and automatically follow up with proposal drafts for you to review before sending to your client. And then the whole onboarding sequence where, scheduling client engagement calls and, the management of back and forth of their keynote drafts and all of that. Those are all areas of the business that AI could help you with, so that your time is really focused on just showing up with that client and delivering that coaching and value to them in person in real time. And AI can handle everything else.
Okay, so like, do you have an example with a client that you're actually working with, and how by developing AI agents to handle
Mhm.
these different aspects of the business, how it's actually saving time in a way that can be measured, okay, so that it frees
Absolutely.
up their time, and also ways that it's contributing to revenue growth. Because remember, that's what we're all about here at Seven Figure Life Fulfillment is how you can grow your revenue while working fewer hours.
Yeah, I love looking at AI applications in two lenses, pretty similar. It's like, how can I grow the business, grow revenue, and how can I cut costs and save time? I think it's a great framework. So I've worked with a coaching and training business in kind of I'll just say kind of wellness space. And they have a coaching program where they go through a sequence of calls. It's a whole curriculum, 12, 14 calls with some one-on-one coaching as well. And the business owner quickly realized that, she was so busy operating this business that she couldn't show up and do the actual coaching for these wellness business owners. And so the first thing she did, was hire one additional coach. And this is a good signal that you're ready to work with AI, because if you haven't collaborated with a freelancer or a VA or even your first hire, I feel like if you don't have that experience of understanding your business, documenting it, and delegating it, that you're going to have some false starts with AI. So she hired her first additional coach so that they could split the coaching calls with their clients, but then they were getting so much more business that it outstripped, their ability. And so what we did for them was, the business owner wanted to hire more coaches and remove herself from the direct coaching and really only come in and solve client problems. So we created an agent that would manage the booking of calls, so that the scheduling of these calls with clients was automated by this agent. And she didn't really have a high level of trust with the coaches that she was hiring. I mean, she got them through referrals and vetted them, but she didn't want to have to listen to and review every single coaching call that she wasn't on to be sure that she was delivering the best service to her clients. So there was an AI agent that after every coaching call took the transcript and graded it and gave that grade to her, the business owner, to review. So she wakes up every morning at 8 o'clock and reviews all of the previous day's calls. And she can set aside maybe 20 minutes to 30 minutes a day. That saves her 5 or 6 hours of reviewing the previous day's calls. And she has the confidence that, yes, okay, 5 out of 6 are green, but one of them is yellow. And the agent is even suggesting to her, hey, here's how you could coach this coach on how to be a better coach to the clients. And that's just one of the agents that we've built for them in that business. But what it's allowed her to do is scale up her coaching team. And, I think she went from maybe 12 enrollees in this program going through the coaching cohort at a time. And now she's over 50
Wow.
concurrent clients that she and her team of coaches are coaching in this program.
You've just given a great example of how
Mhm.
AI is taking over a big hunk of someone's business. Now, obviously, if AI is doing everything correctly, this is really good for the business owner. But I've had all kinds of experiences working with ChatGPT where I give it a prompt and it hallucinates
Mhm.
horribly, right? And
Mhm.
so how do you ensure that while you're building these AI agents that you can trust that they're going to be doing exactly what you want them to do and not starting to make things up as they go along?
Yeah. Yeah, you said the T word, trust. It has to be earned. And I think the only way you can earn it is to continue to use the tools, be hyper vigilant in what its responses are, and just always be sure that it's delivering business value or customer and client value in the end. So in this coaching, this wellness coaching business example, notice that we didn't start with just giving the clients like an AI coach. Oh, just like use this AI coach and they'll give you all the advice and everything that you need. No, 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 no. So these are business owners themselves that are running the same kinds of businesses that their clients are, and we want to keep them interactive and synchronous and in conversation and coaching with their clients. We never want to put AI as the coach to those clients. Instead, what we did was we took the parts of the business that the business owner didn't have visibility into or was just taking a lot of her time to review and was really draining. Oh, I hate listening to all these calls. It takes up a bunch of my time. And like most of them are really, really good, but maybe 1 in 5, 1 in 10, I need to make a little correction. And that's where we chose to apply AI. But you're like, okay, Chai, like, how do I even get started? Like, what's just that one area of business you spend a lot of time in that you could create one small tool and get iterative feedback on, is this helpful and working or is this not? So like in the content creation case, maybe instead of having it design your whole 2026 social marketing campaign and generate all of that content at once, just say like, hey, I want you to be a thoughtful editing partner for me when I'm writing my email newsletter. Here's some of my ideas. How might I structure it and where should I begin? And just go back and forth with it in conversation. Don't take what it gives you as what your email newsletter is going to be, but continue to give it your ideas and it can be a thoughtful editor. And then at the end, you'll come out with something where you're like, huh, is this better than what I've written before or not? And how might I use this tool to kind of overcome some of my shortcomings? Like maybe I write too much and I need to write less, or maybe I'm not being concrete enough with the stories that I'm telling. But just start like with that one newsletter instead of having it try to boil the ocean.
Right. So what I hear you saying is that don't try to have it run everything all at once. Just give
Yeah.
it little bite-sized pieces and use it like building blocks, like give it
Hmm.
add responsibility just as you would with an intern, for example. Like
Hmm.
you would say, "Hey, I'm going to train you on this thing, and when you get good at it, we're going to promote you and you're going to get to do some other things." And
Hmm.
that's how you go about training an agent. Is that how it works?
In a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah, in a
Yeah.
nutshell. So it's interesting. I noticed on your website you're saying that you can help people create an AI agent in an afternoon. Tell us more about that.
Okay. Can we really do it in an afternoon? I mean, the answer is yes. Um, if you go to my website, stimulus.io, you'll find my own agent there on the website, and it'll give you a chief of staff agent to begin with. And the purpose of that chief of staff is kind of like what I would do in an initial conversation with a client, where you go back and forth and just are interviewed about your business. Who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve? What's your unique ability? How are you delivering value to clients? And what are the areas that you're spending a bunch of your time? And with that context, it can know enough about you and your business to say, you know what, actually, I think you're spending a lot of time here. It sounds like you don't really enjoy it. And so let's see how we might help you. So a very concrete example that I just built for myself just this past week is I don't have social media, but I want to get on a lot of podcasts to create, a relationship network and connect with folks like yourself. And I was like, you know what? I could spend like 3 or 4 hours in doing the research and preparation, but I think this is perfect application for AI. So I went into my AI tool of choice and I said, I want to get on podcasts. I want to do 5 a week. I want to do it for 5 weeks. And these are the kinds of folks that I want to connect with. And I said, okay, what do they look like? Who are their audiences? What are example podcasts you have? So I was talking to it for about 30 minutes, and then it said, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, create something that'll help you do research on the shows. I'll do outreach for them, and I'll even tell you, the podcasts that you should listen to before you go on those shows, and give you topic ideas before you show up. And I was like, great, that sounds like it's going to save me 3 or 4 hours a week. It took those instructions and through the AI coding tools, created an agent for me that I call Poly Podcaster. I love alliteration, and I love to give names to my agents and anthropomorphize them. So Poly Podcaster, now I said, last night I said, hey, I'm recording with Ken, can you help me prepare for that session? And came back with a Google Doc that had all the preparation for me that I needed, so that this morning I could listen to one of your recent episodes, on my way in here to record with you. And it only took about 90 minutes for me to do that. And some of the coding I had it do overnight, but those are the sorts of agents that, with some targeted, conversation and interviewing with AI, you can have something that'll save you, 3 to 5 hours a week.
Wow. Chad, this sounds like something that everyone should start seriously thinking about. I mean, now with AI, it's clear it's here to stay. It's not going away.
Mhm.
The sooner everyone embraces it and learns how to leverage it, coaches and consultants, for example, I think the sooner they start to add AI agents to the business, not just as a writing assistant or a brainstorming assistant, but actually
Mhm.
to start taking over some of the day-to-day operations, that's when they're actually going to start being able to reclaim their personal time.
Absolutely.
Okay, like let's face it, a lot of people go into business thinking that, okay, geez, I'm leaving my 9 to 5 job, I'm hanging up my shingle as a consultant or a coach, and this
Mhm.
is great because now I'm totally in control of my time and my destiny, and that 40 hours a week that you used to work is now 60 hours a week and maybe even more, right? So you can now use AI to reclaim that personal time that you've lost by setting up your business, right? So now
Mhm.
that the business doesn't totally evolve around you being there every single minute of the day, you can start to build a life you actually enjoy by being a solopreneur.
Yeah. It's the blessing and curse of striking out on your own. When you work at a company, I wouldn't know because I've only ever worked for myself, but my understanding is when you work at a company, everything like HR and payroll and uh, IT, it's all handled for you by other folks at the company, and you can kind of be an individual contributor and focus on what you're doing. You strike out on your own, and then all of a sudden you have to take on and wear all these different hats of the business that you never had to wear before. And almost to every single coach or consultant I have talked with, their most valuable thing is FaceTime and interactions and conversations with their clients. So anything that is taking you away from being in front of and delivering value to your clients, you should think about creating systems, tools, and automations with AI so that you can just spend your time focused on serving more clients.
Hey, that sounds like exactly what everyone should be doing. So, Chad, how can people reach out to you and maybe get your help in starting to do just that?
If you go to my website, stimulus.io, I have an interactive agent bot there on the website that will ask you a little bit about your business and how you might get started in thinking about what's the one thing that you wish ran without you in your business. You can get a free chief of staff agent from that tool that you can use in any of the standard AI platforms. And it'll actually ping me on my phone on Telegram and say, hey, someone's interacting on the website. So you could even get in touch with me through the website. But that's the first thing I would do is get the chief of staff or even just chat with a chat bot. Like say, hey, you're a chief of staff in my business. Interview me about the business and where I could get started. And spend 20 to 30 minutes and you'll be much further ahead than most folks.
Okay, that sounds great. Everyone, check out Chad's website, stimulus.io. I think this is a really cool idea. Chief of staff. I think every business should have
Mhm.
a chief of staff. I'm intrigued by that idea myself. I think I'll check it out. Chad, I want to thank you for all your insights today. And I want to thank you for being such a great guest.
Thanks, Ken. It was a pleasure.
All right. Everyone, we'll see you again soon on the next episode of the Seven Figure Life Fulfillment Podcast.